You got it? Let's get it!
Hey everyone, I want to do a different kind of style of video as I do my normally weekly update talking about my lifts and stuff, but I also kind of want to talk about a different topic not related to my lifts in particular, and in the next few weeks, or as in future videos I should say, I will probably be including an additional topic to, I guess, just a general one of me updating on my week of training and all of what that, because I think I have more to offer than just talking about my specific training, because you can really see people training and doing, things like what I do all over the place, but I think I can at least provide somewhat of an interesting perspective on different things related to lifting or perhaps life in general, although more of the general life things I do generally put on my other channel because I like to keep this more related to fitness. But anywho, let's talk a little bit about my week of training, and I thought everything was moving really well. The weights that I used were moving smoothly. They felt good. Even if they felt heavy, they were still moving quite well, which I was very excited about. The 370 that I did last night or early this morning, I forget, felt really good, and on the video it moved really well as well. My bench stuff has been continuing to move really well. I'm very happy with how my mechanics are feeling with the bench, and the same goes for deadlifts. The weights, the percentages that I'm using are feeling better and better, which is probably the biggest indication that I've gotten stronger from before, is that the same weights that felt really heavy at the beginning of the cycle are beginning to feel easier to do, much more manageable. I had, like yesterday, I had 370 pounds for 4 sets of 2, and I am 100% confident in it. And normally, at the beginning of the cycle, it was like a little bit iffier. It would have been grinder on some of the reps, but all of them felt really, really good, except or I think there was, no, it was yesterday. It was a different day when I went to the top of my squat and I hit the side of the rack somehow, and that kind of really annoyed me. It was on my 3rd set. It might have been actually the similar weight. I forget. But yesterday, everything felt really good with that. But in this week, you're seeing all my last sets of everything. I don't think I recorded anything other than that, just because I didn't really feel like recording a bunch of clips. Because the last sets I think are the most important ones, because that's when my form's going to break down. I'm pretty confident in my form holding true on the sets when I'm not fatigued. It's just when the fatigue sets in, everything will break down. But speaking more of next week and my plans for the upcoming week, on Monday I'll be doing an AMRAP with squats and deads with 75% of my 1 rep max, which, sorry, that was my phone vibrating. Quite distracting. But at 75% of my 1 rep max, so for squats that will put me at about 325 pounds, and for deadlifts that'll put me at around 445 pounds, and I will be doing it just an AMRAP. I'll be working up to that weight and then doing an AMRAP of those 2 weights. And with bench, I'm going to go to 80%, simply because bench, I want to do 2 plates. I guess that's the form of ego lifting, but I know 225 is manageable. My bench is feeling really good, and normally I can work at higher percentages of my bench press and still recover fine with those, just for whatever reason, it just being the upper body and whatnot. So that will be my Monday workout, and then Wednesday I will be starting the prep for the I guess the competition type thing that I'm doing in August with the online powerlifting meet. So I will be starting that prep that's on the Shaco thing, and what it has me doing is working, I think, up to 90% for 3 singles with squats and bench on that day, and then on, I guess it will be Friday, it will have me doing the same thing but for deadlifts. And I think both days have a little bit of additional work with them, but that's the main brunt of the day. So for squats, I'm hoping it has me at like 401 pounds, so I'll probably just round it up to 405. And that's not a crazy leap as far as weight or percentages goes, and I've done 405 many times before. Let's say many. I've done it several times before, so it's not like I'm stretching way beyond or being overly aggressive, especially just for a single. Although on Wednesday I'll most likely try to do an AMRAP with 405, at least a double. Theoretically, I would hopefully be able to do a triple, but I'm not going to try to kill myself with it, especially doing 2 singles prior to that. But last time I tried to do a double with 405, I failed, more simply because my friend helped me more than he helped me a little bit, and by my standards that doesn't count. So I wanted to get one 100% clean. I think with the way that the weights have been feeling right now, I should be able to with the bench. I know it's also around 90% for the same kind of rep scheme of 1 to 3 or 1 three sets of 1 rep of 3 singles. And I forget which weight. It will be pretty close to 280. I might be a little bit aggressive with that and go to 275, simply because I should be able to do that because my bench has been feeling really good as of late, but I may be conservative with that. Simply just to stick with the program and to also probably do an AMRAP on the last set. Now that I talk through it a little bit more, that's actually probably what I'll do. Whatever the program calls for, about 90% of 280 pounds, whatever that is, I will do the singles with that, and then on the last set do an AMRAP. Obviously have someone spot me so I don't die, but see what I can do with that, because like I said, my bench has been feeling really good. I did 265 this week or last week, I forget, for 5 reps, and so that put my theoretical max, I think, above 300, way above what my current 1 rep max is now. So theoretically I should be improving on my bench press max. Hopefully I truly am. I know in the past that I've done 275 for multiple doubles, and then I couldn't do more than 280, and doing doubles of 275, but my 1 rep max above 280. So 1 rep max calculator isn't always accurate for me, just because the bench, I guess, is sort of the struggle for me. And I think for deadlifts on Friday, that has me going, I think it's like 555 pounds. If I'm trying to think off the top of my head, I haven't double checked. But it's 90% of 590 pounds if you wanted to do the math at home, or maybe I'll throw up on the video if I'm feeling really nice. I probably will, because it's a pretty easy calculation to do, seeing how I just plug it into a calculator. But it has, I think, the same with like 3 singles with that weight. I'll be trying to do them all with a hook grip. Hopefully the cut on my finger, I was cutting onions and it slipped and sliced my finger. It's probably the deepest cut I've ever had. So self-inflicted wound in the kitchen when I was trying to cook some onions. But then I also have I guess it's a thumb sprain. It was kind of a wrist sprain, thumb sprain from trying to do 285 pounds on power clean, or I guess cleans. There weren't power cleans, or just full cleans. And failing that several times. So one time I did kind of catch it. I kind of caught it awkwardly, and it strained my thumb and wrist on my left hand, which is wonderful because that's already my weaker hand anyway. But thankfully with hook grip, imbalances like that aren't as pronounced because you just have to hold the form with it. And I'm pretty confident in my hook grip anyway. I just think perhaps my hand might start bleeding from the cut from just squeezing the bar. So hopefully that goes well. The fact that I'm doing 555, I'll have to do a couple warm-ups with the hook grip to make sure everything is going well. In the one video I talked about hook grip with using straps with the hook grip to warm up. I probably won't do that simply because I haven't done much of the hook grip in the last week or so, simply because of the thumb strain / wrist strain that I've had, and not wanting to really aggravate my thumb. Although when I did do it I tried to do it for doubles with 475, and that was really difficult to do because I reset it after each rep, and for the hook grip that made everything 1,000 times more difficult and made everything hurt a lot more, and it kind of tore away at my skin. But anywho, that's as far as the talk goes related to my lifts. I'm really excited with the progress. I think I'm going to continue to cut weight as well. I was 193 a couple days ago, which was really bizarre, and I managed to lose 3 pounds, I don't know how, in a couple of days. So I suppose the cut was going really quickly, although I doubt I'll be losing pounds and pounds really quickly like that, and I really don't really want to, because that's not really healthy to lose weight really quickly like that. But I want to get down to the 181 or 180 again for August, so I do have about a month to do that, and I should have no problem getting down to that weight, especially in the summer when everything's hot and I'll be able to go outside and be active and play basketball and do everything like that. So hopefully that cut and everything goes well. But I also want to talk about kind of I guess the other topic that's related to lifting but not to my specific programming. But the reason why I enjoy lifting heavy weights, and I think everyone kind of has their own reasons for that, but I think most people would say that they get some sort of mental benefit out of lifting. It's not just the physical, the muscles, the fact that you should lift heavy weights or this or that. I personally like the emotional response or the mental effect of lifting a very heavy weight. I'm excited when I max out or I hit a PR or do things like that. But the act of lifting a heavy weight feels good, and it's a oxymoronic feeling to try to describe, because obviously it's very difficult to do and it's straining to lift a heavy weight multiple times or for a single rep on a 1 rep max or a competition. It's very strenuous to do, but at the same time it feels really good to maximally exert myself in that sort of realm. And it's something that I really draw me to powerlifting, is that maximal exertion. Like, you have this weight, all you have to do is 1 rep. You just have to get it once. Or if you're doing an AMRAP, like when I did 505 with a hook grip 5 times, it was on the deadlift. It's just pushing yourself, knowing like, I gotta do this, I have to do this. And then that time when you're doing it, it's so short. I mean, the actual lift is such a short amount of time, even though it feels like a very long time when you're performing the actual exercise. The actual time doing it, it's like all my stress goes away, because believe it or not, I do get stressed out about different things, or experience different emotions and different things like that. And maximally exerting myself is just like forcing those emotions away, or just, it's like burning. I don't want to say like repressing them, because it's not a negative thing when I get an emotional benefit from lifting. It's more of you're burning that negative energy that you may have before, and those negative thoughts that you have. Because I take everything that's negative that happens every time I'm mad, every time I'm upset, or I have some memory that comes up that annoys me or upsets me, or anything related to whatever. And for anyone, that can be any number of things. It doesn't matter if it's a girl, or if it's a job, or if it's just life in general. It's always something with everyone, and everyone's unique in that sense to what stresses them out and what benefit they could get from lifting and doing various forms of exercises. But for me, that ability to kind of congregate all those emotions into just one little basket, and just say, you get to that lift and you're like, you know what, it's just screw everything, this lift is all that matters. And having that moment of pushing everything into that, and then that clarity after. It's hard to describe, and I'm trying my best to do it, but it's like I take all the emotions, all the negative things, everything that stresses me out, and I put it into my lifting. But when I'm actually performing the lifts, where I'm there, I don't really think about the specific things that upset me too much, other than like right before a lift I try to elicit some of those to get some sort of emotional response, because I do think that helps with lifting, and I do think it's a very healthy way to deal with those things that stress you out. But when I'm lifting, and like right after, I have this awesome clarity and a clear mind, and anything that stresses me out or bothers me, or any sort of memory that I have that comes up and bothers me, it isn't there. And when I'm maximally exerting myself, the only thing I'm thinking of is that maximal exertion. I literally can't think of anything that stresses me out. I can't be under a heavy amount of stress, like in a heavy lift. I can't be under stress, if that makes any sense. And it's a contradict, and like I said, it's an oxymoronic thing, but I think because in the physical realm you overwhelm your physical senses with a heavy weight, or maximally exerting yourself, you force your mind to be cleared in order to focus on the specific task of lifting the weight. And for me, that's the biggest benefit I get out of powerlifting and doing all that stuff. Even if there was no competitions and nothing related to powerlifting or Instagram or YouTube or any of that, I would still want to lift heavy weights, because it feels good to do that. Obviously my muscles get sore, my joints get sore, sometimes I get a little injury here or there, but it feels really good to do that stuff. And I think that's what a lot of people enjoy about powerlifting and lifting heavy weights in general, is that just strain against yourself, really. And I think that's the biggest benefit for me, is grinding out a weight, or saying like I have to do another rep, or this or that grit that I have, because that's something I think is more or less natural to me, to really maximally exert myself and really try to drive myself into the ground with my dedication to doing different things. And it's not trying to say that in a narcissistic way, but it's just how I've been built throughout my life, is to find something that I want to do well, and to just drive myself into the ground trying to do it. When I was growing up, it was baseball and basketball, and then it was baseball for a while when I was pitching. and now it's lifting, and it's been the same way my whole life. So the fact that I do all this volume and lift maximally and deadlift a couple times a week and squat a couple times a week and do all this stuff and basically push my body as much as I can, it isn't something that is difficult for me, in the sense that it's not something that I'm not unfamiliar with doing. And I think people trying to get into lifting can be intimidated by that sort of thing and not realize that they don't have to do all the things that I do in order to get the same sort of response that I do. They can go in and squat a couple times a week and deadlift once a week or whatever and still get all the benefits that I do. I really enjoy lifting heavy multiple times a week, and I enjoy deadlifting a lot. I don't mind the pain that it elicits in the muscle soreness and being exhausted afterwards and having tight muscles and joints and all that stuff. I enjoy that part of it, because for me that feels like I accomplished something. I left, that's where my stress goes. It goes from up here to all over my body in the form of muscle soreness, and I can deal with that muscle soreness in a direct way. It's hard to directly deal with things that stress you out in your daily life, and I try to do that through lifting and things like that. And it's easy when I take all the stress that's up here, move the muscles, because then I can do soft tissue stuff. I can stretch. I can eat healthy. I can make all these other positive decisions that will help my muscles and also obviously my mind as well. But I see that as the biggest benefit for me. Obviously, you lift, you get muscles, you get all that stuff. But for me, I'm not built to be worried about how my muscles look and this or that. I notice when I change in the long term, and I notice my body changing and how I feel and my ability to move and stuff like that. But it isn't like the critical thing. That the exertion, that drive, that just grit that I have to lift is the best part of it. That part where you're stuck in the middle, your sticking point, and you force yourself through, or you're super tight in the middle of a lift and you're just grunting or something to get through it, or you're doing something equivalent to it. It's what I love with lifting, and it's something that makes me want to lift every single day. If I knew I wouldn't get hurt and I could lift for several hours every single day, I would do it. And that's the only limiting factor, is when I can't lift, or when I'm too sore, or if I'm injured or this or that. That's it. Like, if I could lift every single day, if I could deadlift 600 pounds every day, I would do it every single day. I had no issue mentally doing that because it feels that good. I think, as Arnold Schwarzenegger said, it's like sex. It's that sort of response in the body. It's essentially orgasmic, not to be too gross about it, but it feels that good. And I think that's just all the endorphins and whatnot and the mental response. But I'll end the rant there and the second part of this video. And that's really about it for the video. I don't really have much else to say, but leave your thoughts and comments down below. And if you liked me adding a little bit of this extra stuff to the video, please let me know. Or if you think it should just be a completely separate video, let me know that as well. I'll try to include clips throughout this video, but I did talk for quite a while, so there'll be probably just my face here, to my beautiful face for you all to stare at. But yeah, like I said, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and also let me know why you enjoy lifting so much. If it's the reasons I mentioned, or if it's something else, I'm curious about that as well. And as always, thanks for watching and have a wonderful day.